What's up, traders? Tons of trading today. We ended up down about 1R. Let's just jump right into it. All right, so QCOM was our first trade. This one was a bit frustrating. We watched this thing take off, and we pretty much were just trying to get in on a price action entry. As you can see, we were looking for the anticipation of the 110 break, and we got it. The only problem with this is we got a little bit greedy. As you can tell, this got down to about 109.58. We were looking for more than that. We were looking for at least 109. VWAP was all the way down here, and unfortunately, it just decided to come. It squeezed pretty much right from that 50 area all the way back up to our entry. So we were just kind of letting it go, and we said, hey, we're just going to accept the risk here. If it wants to go high of day, goes high of day, and of course it did. It was almost a fake out. We actually thought about getting back in here for the fake out breakout, but I said no. I wouldn't have taken this trade, and I really shouldn't have taken this trade. I really didn't have a trigger. 1 minute trigger would have been all the way at the bottom of this candle here, down at 109.27. So I wasn't exactly excited after the fact that we took this trade. So our second trade, you can see we had another trade over here on it, but our second trade was actually on PINS. And this one was just a pain in the butt. It did not want to quite give us exactly what we were looking for. But this one we did have a trigger. It was, I believe, was it the 2 minute? Let's say it might have been the 1 minute. No, we used the 2 minute, and it actually faked us out right away. Maybe it was the 1 minute. I don't know why my zooming is. No, it was. I think it was just the 2 minute. I think this came up. It made a high, and at the end of this candle, it decided to try to break its own candle, and I was kind of using that as the trigger. And as you can tell, it was obviously not the right idea. Should have let it keep going, looking for either this to be the trigger here at 36.71, or I could have let it make the second candle and then use that as a trigger, or the original candle as the trigger at 36.90. And our entry was at 36.90. So technically we should have been waiting for that 36.89 print over here. So again, I guess I was just a little anxious today. But as you can see, pretty extended VWAP all the way down here, previous resistance all the way down here at this 36.22 area, and then we had this previous resistance all the way down here at 35.60. So ultimately we are looking for this to come down and test this 36.20 area for the first part of our, we were going to look to take 90% there. Unfortunately, it tested this area, this 36.50 area, multiple times. It tried to come down, went back up, tried to come down, went all the way back up, started to squeeze a little bit, came all the way back down, tried it again, and I said, okay, this time, if it's starting to go back up, this is probably support, right? It's trying to form support here, and it just does not want to break that key $half area. And at the time, we were right. It did end up breaking that little area here and going a little bit higher. Was a fake out. It actually came back down, tried again, got through just barely, and started to come back up. And I said, oh, geez, I think this is going to be it. I was looking to stop out above 37, and fortunately, it didn't get there. It did finally start to come back down and give us some of this move. And I was ultimately looking to cover the rest of these shares here. Down here at 35.62 area, but as you can see, it used the VWAP as support, and on the way back up, it decided to just keep on going. And as you can see, it did continue up. Ultimately, it did finally come back down. Didn't get quite as low as we wanted, but then now it's just kind of chopping back and forth in this range. So wasn't really interested after that. Then QCOM, I believe we actually got back into QCOM while we were still in pins, but QCOM, we actually pulled it up on the 5 minute and we put it up on our other chart. And as you can see here, we had a trigger of 111.29. So we got under that. We jumped in 111.23, and it worked right away. It went right down to 111. We were looking for it to break through 111, at least try 110.50 for any kind of take profit. VWAP was down here. We were still nice and extended, and unfortunately, it just bounced and shot right back up. I mean, look at where this 5 minute candle ended up closing. Closed all the way up there at 111.59, and it decided to go high of day, and it stopped us out. And so I told myself, all right, I'm done with QCOM today. I just didn't feel like trading it again, even though there was a pretty nice clear entry here, right? Previous resistance, tried to use it as support, so when it came back down here and broke this area again, that was a pretty good entry. Even if you didn't want to get in on the break of that, you could have waited for this to come back up, test it again, and fail again. Just two good entries on the way back down there, and this thing's just kind of riding down. So a little frustrated with QCOM today, but hey. The frustration continued on BLMBN. We were on the 2 minute on this one. And yeah, I don't really know what I was thinking too much. Just happened to pull this up. Saw we were kind of extended. In hindsight, very linear. Looking at the 9 EMA there. It tried to come up here on some good volume, got rejected, used support here about 4 times, and I said, okay, I like that. If we can break above a previous candle, I'm game. So we broke above this candle here of 1054, we jumped in 1055, and we pretty much got faked out 57. I was really looking for that to squeeze back up towards VWAP, possibly even where it's at now, which was this previous support at 1090, and as you can see, it came right back down and went low of day. So stopped us out. Eventually it worked out, just not when we wanted it to. I wonder if we looked at the 5s, if it would have worked on the 5s low. No, it would have got faked out on the 5s too, depending on what kind of move you're looking for. So BLMN, that was kind of just a frustration trade. I didn't really break any rules per se, just probably a trade I would normally take if I was winning. And then that brings us to BE. BE was another one that just decided to fight. If we look at this one, I believe this was either a 1 or 2 minute. Yep, on the 1 minute. So it made a nice move up. We were just waiting for some kind of trigger, right? It tried to come back down here, didn't, kept making higher lows, higher low, higher low. And then finally on this candle here, 1319, it decided it wanted to go through after trying to go back up high of day again. So we jumped in 1316. We had to wait quite a bit for this one. We were looking for more of the move, but unfortunately it just did not want to give it to us. This thing, every time it came down, it was really grinding to get down, minus that first move down here, and then it would just kind of squeeze back up. So it was real tough to grind down, and then it would just pop right back up. And as you can tell, both times we ended up getting out were on pops like that, right? It kept trying to go grind its way down and then pop. So we took most of our position here, and then we were still looking for this thing to maybe fall over, come down, test this previous resistance or VWAP, which you can see they were kind of around the same area at the time, and it just didn't want to do it, and it just wanted to keep going higher. So we ended up using that previous pivot, and yeah, we ended up getting squeezed out. We actually got quite some slippage there on that one. Which then brings us to our last 3 trades of the day, which are all on PBI. And this first trade was 100% a price action trade. It was me feeling the top, and we did have some daily levels on this one. So that was kind of why I was convicted on this one. So we went right up through that daily level, 511 on a nice squeeze move. As we were coming back down through 5, I hit it, and we ended up getting filled. What did we get filled on that one? So let me just get rid of this line. Or let me just move it for a sec. We got at 5. So we were anticipating that break of 5 after it went up through. Got the nice flush down there to 480, took off pretty much all of our position there. And then as we started coming back up, we took off even more, just in case it didn't want to come back down any further and go high of day, which is exactly what it did. Went right up to that next daily resistance line at 550. And this one we used the 1 minute trigger. And unfortunately, this is the one that bit us a little bit. The 1 minute trigger got triggered by, I think, 1 penny, 525. 523, so I won 2 cents, and our entry was at 524. So we got in right for the break of that 1 minute candle. Unfortunately, it pretty much shot right back up, stopped us out, but we identified that it was a fake out breakout. So once we got back below this candle here at 533, we jumped back in. We ended up getting filled at 528, and we tried to ride this thing down as far as we could. It started to hesitate here at this previous resistance. It pretty much went right through it, and I was excited, but we bounced off 5, and then we started to try to get back up through it. So I ended up taking off some of my shares there just in case I wanted to try to use this as support and go back up. But we held on to some shares trying to get down as far as we could, and we actually did get quite the move back down on this thing, and we ended up covering out most of our shares down here at 470 after it tried VWAP twice and it couldn't get through. So as it started to come back up, we figured it was going to have some kind of a bounce before it decided to go where it wanted to go for the rest of the day. So as you can see, it ended up going back over 5, then back down, made lower lows here, and so yeah, it's just kind of in a range at the moment. But decent trades there on PBI. Just, the sucky, unfortunate one up top there. There's really nothing we can do about that. I guess I don't even need to do this, which I just did by accident. I hit that because you guys could already see it, and now you probably can't. But yeah, so ended up with minus 29.66 is where we are for the day. We got to, that's the other thing I wanted to tell you. There were 2 trades in there, like after QCOM and the pins trade. we then took the BLMN trade. So that put us down, I want to say it was like $57 on the day. I mean, we could do the math, but it was around there. So what I did with a max loss of $75 per day, I actually went down to $15 on the same type of trade, and that ended up being the BE trade. So this was actually only a $15 risk, and we made $883. I mean, everything we traded today, it was a fight when they were green trades, and yeah, I mean, the loser trades are just always going to be the losers. But then with that trade, it allowed us to take $25 risk again on that first trade on PBI. So on this first trade on PBI, we had $25 risk. Then after this one, we actually got some slippage here on the exit. So we ended up, we were down, I want to say it was 55 again. So we ended up only taking 15 risk on the second one again. So even with smaller risk on two of the actual winners that we had, we still only ended up down one full R of the $25 because on that last trade, we actually made, I think it was 20. Yeah, we made 25, only risking 15. So pretty happy with that because that was a pretty good trade. I wish we could have held on to that first part of the position a little bit longer, but I'm not going to complain. It ended up being a good trade. So sorry for the recap. I feel like going through and editing all of those trades today, it was a lot. We had 22 tickets today. That would have been quite a bit. And to be completely honest, we traded a little bit later than we usually do. And yeah, so that's all I have for you today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. I always appreciate that support. If you do have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those down below, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.